Good morning. Today for our poetry lesson, we're going to talk about two different types of poems, Cinquain and Diamante. The first poem we'll talk about is a Cinquain, which is an unrhymed poem that has 5 lines, and they're based on syllable counts. So you can see here, line 1 will have 2 syllables, line 2 will have 4 syllables, line 3 will have 6 syllables, line 4 will have 8 syllables, but then you'll see line 5 goes back to having only 2 syllables. So there's more detail. It's not just a syllable count. Each line actually has a specific direction. So for line 1, the 2 syllables are made up of one word with 2 syllables, and it can be the same as the title of the poem. That second line has 4 syllables that describe the subject or title of the poem. The third line in those 6 syllables, it's often 3 verbs showing action that end with ing. In that fourth line with 8 syllables, it's expressing a feeling or observation about the subject. And then in line 5, when it goes back down to 2 syllables, it describes or renames the subject. So sometimes you'll see that first word from line 1 repeat, and other times you'll see something describing it. So what does that look like in a true poem? This poem is called Post-it, and you'll see the first line also starts with Post-it. So I'll read it now. Post-it, big, small, pink, blue, sticking, folding, teaching, hanging peacefully on paper, center. So we can see here how that plays out in the actual poem. So when you're writing yours, you'll use this template of what a cinquain should look like with the line A and the different word placements, and you'll see it forms a kind of shape. Diamante is a different type of poem. It consists of 7 lines. It's also unrhymed, and it's also arranged in a special way and usually looks similar to a diamond. It starts with the subject at the top of the diamond and usually goes to a completely different subject that's at the bottom of the diamond. So it's helpful before you write a Diamante poem to think of 2 nouns that are opposite to each other. For example, ocean and desert. So if you want, you can stop now and make a list of some opposing nouns that you might want to use for your Diamantes. Once you're back, you can look at this sample of this different 7 lines. So you'll see 2 different colors here. The first ones in this maroon color will relate to this first noun, and the bottom ones here in blue will relate to line 7's second noun. So they do follow a pattern. So you'll list your first noun on line 1. Line 2 will have 2 adjectives describing the first noun. Line 3 will have 3 action verbs that are related. They often end with ing or ed. And then line 4 is a little bit mixed. It usually has 2 nouns that relate to the first one from line 1 and 2 nouns that relate to the noun that's going to be later on line 7. You'll see line 5 is a mirror of line 3 with the action verbs, except it talks about the second noun that's on line 7. Same with line 6 and line 2. They are mirrors of each other with adjectives describing the noun, but the one with line 2 describes the first noun, and on line 6, it describes the second noun. This will make more sense when you get started. Here's a sample. It's called Fire and Ice. You see those opposing nouns, fire and ice. Fire, destructive, helpful, burning, blazing, dancing, smoke, flame, crystal, sculpture, sliding, slipping, skating, solid, cold, ice. So you can see here that this first part of the poem relates to that first noun, fire. And here in the middle of line 4, it splits, and with crystal and sculpture and the rest of the poem, it starts speaking to ice. So again, because this is a poem that forms a particular shape, it's helpful to see what a Diamante should look like with lines A to G or 1 through 7. This one does not have a particular syllable count like the cinquain, but it does have directions for what should go on each line. So what did we learn today? We learned about 2 different types of poetry. We learned that cinquains have 5 lines with a specific amount of syllables. It goes from 2 syllables to 4 to 6 to 8, and then back to 2. We learned that Diamantes have 7 lines and have opposing nouns that start and finish the poem. So now what are you going to do? When you stop this video, you're going to go to the 4th grade poetry Padlet and read some samples that are marked Cinquain and Diamante. Then you'll take out your poetry notebook or packet and write several Cinquains and Diamante poems. Write at least one of each type. You should be writing for at least 20 minutes. Then you'll pick your favorite poem for the day and you'll post it on the class Padlet. Be creative.